Marhaba and good morning. We'll start in about 2 minutes. There's water outside if anybody needs a quick glass of water. But we have a wonderful panel here today, and we're very interested in also hearing from all of you. If you need translation, you need a headset. There's translation English into Farsi, and Farsi into Arabic, Arabic Farsi. So if you need a headset, please go get one now. They're at the end of the hall. And just one housekeeping issue. Please turn off your mobile phones or put them onto silent. And if someone calls you, if you could take the conversation outside rather than here, that would be great. So give us 2 more minutes and we'll begin. We're just going to do a translation check for 1 second so everybody knows which channel is which. So I believe 1 is English. Channel 2. Channel 2. I don't know.
The translator, I think, not.
Channel 3, could the translators help me? Which channel is channel 3? Channel 3 is Persian. So Farsi, Persian, channel 3. Channel 2, I would assume, is Arabic. Channel 2? Okay, let's just write this down. Okay. Maybe channel 4. Let's give it a go. Okay, we only have 3 channels. So I'm assuming that channel 2 is Arabic. Can we confirm that? They're waving in here.
She told that channel 2 is for English and channel 1 for Arabic. The person translator said.
Hello.
Okay, so channel 1 is Arabic and channel 2 is English. Is that correct? Well, we'll find out soon enough.
You can
Okay.
choose.
Okay. So I may need all of your help as we're listening. We're going to start because we're a few minutes late and we have amazing people here with us today. You are in the WAVE workshop with some fabulous people who are doing work using technology around the world to help with economic development, for the progression of women in their countries, and for the benefit of the country in general. My name is Jane Coffin. I work for an organization called the Internet Society. We've asked you all to turn your phones off or put them on silent. If you can also, and here comes Carol, she can help us, but put your phones on silent, please. And when we do have the Q&A, if you can speak slowly, because we do have the great benefit of translation. We're going to wait for 2 minutes. We're working on the translation, and we will come back to you. But before we do that, let me introduce myself a little bit so we can get that done. And I won't introduce my colleague who's not here yet, but will be back, the mystery man. Again, my name is Jane Coffin. I work for the Internet Society. We're a global nonprofit with regional expertise around the world. We have about 90 staff, 150 organizational members, and about 60,000 individual members. Our mission is to help promote and extend the benefit of the internet. It's a very good mission. We're working hard to set up a Middle East office in the next 5 to 6 months, so you may be hearing more from us. Our CEO is Kathy Brown, who came from Verizon. She's very dedicated to extending the internet in many countries. I'll give you a little bit more information when we start, but just so you know who I am. Andrew Mack, who will be sitting with me and helping with some of the Q&A, is an experienced development professional as well. We both have lived in many different countries and worked with people around the world, whether it's regulatory, policy, or economic development. And I think I'm going to wait to hear from Carol in a minute about the translation. But why don't I I'm not going to use the time to introduce anyone until we have all the full translation. But give us 2 more minutes, and then we'll start. I'll give you the idea of how the panel will work. Each of the individuals here will speak for about 8 to 10 minutes about what they're doing, the importance of where they are in their environment and their stories. They'll give us at the end of the session three takeaways so that next year when you come back, we can know where certain progress has been made or other key issues, lifting the barriers to success, for success. I won't speak much at all because it's more important that we hear from all of you. So there'll be a question and answer after we hear from everyone. And the idea will be to have an interactive session. And it's very good that we have enough people to sit around the table almost, and we're close in, because this is about hearing from all of you and hearing from the people here. It's more important that we understand the issues and the challenges. I will say that we had a blog at the Internet Society on March 8th, International Women's Day. It was a blog about a computer school that we have funded in Pakistan. That blog about the women's programs around the world that we help fund was the most uniquely hit blog that we have, meaning individuals were so interested in that topic. It was very interesting to us because We're trying to use more social media, and Erica, who works for Facebook at the end here, will tell you more about the amazing work that they do. But we have been trying to reach out to more people through Twitter, Facebook, other mechanisms, blogging, of course. I've been on Twitter the whole time this week, and we've had Facebook updates on our website as well. It's a great way to reach people. But it was very interesting to us that one blog about training girls in Pakistan, which was scalable in a computer center, and trying to take an ecosystem and expand it so you have other children teaching other children and their parents at the same time, was very exciting. We also, do we have the translation yet? No. Yes? Nam. Okay, Nam means yes? Nam. Okay, good. Okay, we're ready. Are we ready? Okay. Excellent. So we're going to start over. Thank you for being here. And channel 2 is definitely Arabic. 3 is Persian, and 1 I think is English. So I'm going to introduce briefly our panelists, and then they're all going to speak. We're going left to right. The first speaker that will speak in a minute is Azadeh Danande. I hope I pronounced the names correctly. Azadeh is currently the directing manager of Bahrain Information Technologist Consultancy. She's graduated from the engineering faculty of Shiraz University. She started her professional career in data processing. We like that. Since then, Mrs. Dananda has enjoyed a rich professional life in multiple sectors, ranging from project management, system engineering, software engineering, quality management, others. She's managed the quality management system for software companies in Iran. She'll tell you more about this soon. The next speaker will be Ms. Roslyn Layton, who is doing some very interesting work with women in Iran related to a project for marketing and how women are depicted both in their professional lives and in advertising. She is currently at a university in Denmark, I believe, and she'll tell you more about what she's doing. After that, Ms. Hala Abdelkader Hala from Egypt holds an LLB from the University of Cairo. Since 1991, she's a registered Egyptian lawyer syndicate on the grade of High Appeal. She acts as an expert and legal advisor to various international organizations and NGOs. She's worked as legal consultant with USAID. I've worked with USAID too. And the National Council for Women on Project Violence Against Women and Children. She has a number of research studies, as example, but not limited to, international research in conjunction with the University of Oxford and the Center for Human Rights on Stateless and Stateless Arab World, a study on problems of Egyptian women married to foreigners. She's participated in the preparation of a shadow report submitted to the CEDAW Committee in the United Nations. She represents Egypt in numerous international and regional conferences on women's issues and human rights. Our speaker after that will be Inam Al-Asfour. Inam is from Saudi, is a woman entrepreneur with a bachelor's degree in nutritional sciences. Currently, she's completing her master's in political science at the Denmark Arab Open University. She's earned numerous training certificates, including a certificate in human rights education from the Geneva Institute for Human Rights and Cooperation with the Arab Organization for Human Rights in Cairo. She's an owner and CEO for CAD, for interior design and real estate marketing. And to the right of Inam is Erica Mann. Erica has a distinguished career in the European Parliament, where she was focused on critical issues for the digital economy, R&D, telecommunications, internet policy, and trade issues. She was with the Committee of Industry, Research, and Energy, as well as the Delegation for Relations with the United States. She's from Leipzig, and Erica is with Facebook right now, and she runs the Brussels office. She's a good colleague of ours as well, and an organizational member of the Internet Societies. We are proud to have all of you here with us today. And I should also say Erica is on the board of ICANN, which is important. There's a lot of debate about ICANN here this week. But more importantly, we're here to hear about the great stories and work of the women sitting here today. Andrew Mack will join us for the Q&A in a bit, but now I'm going to turn to Azada to hear from her. She will give you a few minutes about WAVE, the important organization that's trying to help women and create economic development through technology. And then Azada will tell you her story. Azada.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. I'm happy to be here with you, talking about some women issues regarding internet and IT technology, information technology. First of all, I want to introduce a short wave for you. 3 years ago, there was a program for women which was organized by two Lebanese associations, SCCE and IJMA. In this program, some associations, women associations around the region were there, and this was a good program. But at the finishing of this program, they found that there are a lot of potentials for continuing this program. And now we are here with you under the name of WAVE, Women Alliance for Virtual Exchange. The main objective of WAVE is improving the quality of life of women around the region. By the region, I mean Middle East, North Africa, and Central Asia. Central Asia. And now WAVE has 31 members from 13 different countries in this region. And we hope that we will be grown in the future and have so many members in these countries. Why we choose this area for activity? Because we have common cultures in these areas, and we believe that women face same situations in these areas, and this is important for us to emphasize, to focus on commonalities, cultural commonalities, and finding the way for our problems regarding these commonalities, cultural commonalities. And you can find more information about WAVE, about its vision, mission, objectives on the WAVE portal. And it's a rich portal. You can find many information about this. And is there any information that I must tell you about the WAVE? Or this is enough? Thank you. I shall.
So thank you very much. And now, Azada, you can tell us about your story.
Okay, thank you.
For those of you in the room, it's easier for some of you perhaps to see the real-time transliteration of what we're saying. So if you want to look up here, that's also helpful to you. And please, Azada.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I want to start my speech with gender equality, which is the main problem in the whole world. But this is the main concerns of all the women around the world. But I want to take your attention about the main results, main cause of this. And I want to bring you to the past times when people live in villages. In the past times, when we look at the way they live, the way they live, nobody claimed about gender equality, since men and women work together in farms. They taking care of animals. Women did their duties and responsibilities very good at home, and there was no conflict between the role of a woman in her job outside home and inside home, considering her responsibilities about her role as a mother, as a wife. At that time, everyone knows his role, and nobody heard any complaint about gender equality at that time. But when human being starts living in the cities, the limitations, the constraints starts. You know, the jobs of men changed. They work in the factories. Their jobs changed to service activities, and living in the cities was the beginning of some limitations for women. Women stays at home, and their role changed. They focused on women duties and responsibilities about the families, and they start to be far from outside home living. And I believe that this was because of starting living in the cities. In the villages now, in many countries, especially in Eastern countries, still we can see women live in villages, and there's no conflict between their role inside home and outside it. We hear less complaint from them about gender equality. But in the cities, we hear a lot about this discrimination between men and women. We must consider this as a fact, and it means that we must redefine the role of women in this kind of living, in these new cities, in this new environment, and it needs some deep redefinition of women's roles in the society. In countries like Iran, in Eastern companies, with these special cultures, that role of women in family is more important, and they emphasize in our culture the main expectation from a woman is taking care of children. And I knew many women, many educated women, that prefer to stay at home and taking care of her children rather than go out and have good jobs and good careers out of the home, because the whole society expects this from the women in these societies. And when we want to talk about this issue, we must consider this as a main concern. And I believe that in this situation, technology will help us. With ICT, we can prepare an environment for these women to be at home, to be connected with their job, to be connected with the society, and simultaneously doing her responsibilities, her duties in the family, taking care of children when she stays at home and doing her job. And in our culture, we must regard this as an opportunity for women to be at home, to stay at home, and doing their job outside. So when we think about development of infrastructures for internet and other technology issues, this can be an opportunity for women. And if we change the mind of all the society to regard the technology as a tool for facilitating women's job, women's working, it will be better, and the women can enjoy, can benefit from technology in this regard. This is one issue, and another important issue in the whole world, or at least I can say in my country, Iran, is this, that internet has two different aspects. One, cultural aspects, and one, I call it economical aspects. In the whole world and in my society, people emphasize on cultural aspects of internet in the society very much. And you know, since we have different culture with developed countries, we considered it as somehow some threats. These are cultural threats for our culture, for our society. But if we can change the minds of whole society and emphasize on other applications of the internet, like e-government, e-health, e-education, e-learning, and other E's that we know are very important for all countries to benefit from this, if we emphasize on them, then there will be a balance between this serious application of internet and the threats that we feel about using internet and attacking our culture. Maybe I'm not believing, but the whole society think about it in this way, that there might be some cultural threats for our society. And when for example, the government, the society wants to decide about spending on infrastructures regarding internet, they must know what are they paying for. They are paying for chats, they are paying for transferring videos, they are paying for connecting youth together, or they are paying for very serious society problems to solve, for example, environmental problems. Or to make the organization more productive, or to serve the citizens better and be making them satisfied about the services that they can give from the government. So I believe that we must emphasize on these aspects of internet applications, and this will be and in this way we will promote the internet in our societies, and many concerns about side effects of internet will be removed. And this means that we must change our mindset about the internet and its application. And also we know that internet introduces, not just internet, ICT introduces the new ways of businesses. And in my country, that there are a lot of youth seeking for jobs. Promoting ICT and internet will cause new jobs, and they can be with innovations and entrepreneurship. These occupation problems may be resolved. So if I want to summarize my speech, I can tell you that first, redefinition of roles of women in the societies is a serious problem, is a serious issue. We must consider on it. The second is ICT can be a good facilitator to bring women connected with their jobs and with their society, and simultaneously staying at home. The third one is changing the mindset about the internet applications convincing the society that it has a good impact on economical side of each society is good, and also it's a good tool for innovation and finding new way of business for women and also men. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Azada, and very important points about technology as something that can bind us together rather than separate us. Next up, we have Roslyn, who will give you a bit more about what she's doing, and we thank you for joining us today.
Good morning, everyone. I'm based at Aalborg University in Copenhagen, Denmark. We have a department for communication, media, and information studies. And we've been very fortunate to have a new professor from the University of Tehran come and join us. His name is Dadis Katehan. And he and I are working together on a project about women and the media in Iran. I'm going to share with you some of the highlights of our research to date. It's not conclusive, but I think it's interesting about some of the challenges that women face in Iran, but also how, in spite of the challenges, that women are still making advances in the country, and also some of the maybe fundamental issues around the internet that, when we look at improving status of women in Iran, what some of those issues may be. So it's important to keep in mind when we talk, this whole conference is about the internet, but not to forget that still 2/3 of the world's population is not online. And for that reason, it's important to pay attention to other media and what's going on there, whether television, print newspapers, and so on. And it's definitely important in the case of Iran, where, at least from an academic perspective, when we want to study these things, we can't necessarily go to the internet to get the information that we want. So when we are doing an academic analysis about women in Iran, we have to use Persian language print materials frequently that are found in Iranian libraries. So it also creates a challenge from an academic perspective to study some of these things. In any case, I want to emphasize that there are many amazing and impressive scholars working in Iran today who are studying these issues, and it's unfortunate that for people who are outside Iran may not necessarily get access to this information. Iran a population is almost 80 million people. The internet penetration, as I understand, is about 43%. That is in line with the world's, that does fit kind of the world's average. One of the challenges about the internet in Iran, a lot of it is just the physical architecture itself. The 2 undersea cables that go to the country are under the Persian Gulf, and they're frequently disrupted by maritime traffic. So there have been outages of the internet just because of ships and damages to the actual cables. The other challenge is that the data moving into the country is moving at a speed about 1/1000th of the world average. You know, that's just 1 gigabit per second, where the rest of the world, it's moving much faster. So Iran today is considered one of the black holes, if you will, where it is restricted by the geography, by the limitation of the infrastructure to the country, but also, you know, some of the government activities. So because of that, television is very important. And while certainly most people have a television, satellite television is extremely important. So even in remote villages, there are maybe satellite dishes where to enable people in Iran to get information from the rest of the world. So our particular project is we wanted to investigate the depiction of Iranian women on official state television, that is from the IRIB, the Republic of Iran Broadcasting Corporation. So over a period of a month, we collected all the advertisements, and studied them for how women are portrayed, and then we compared it to a variety of the official state statistics about women in Iran: education, employment, participation, and so on. And interestingly, we found that women are featured only about 30% of the time in any advertisements at all. And overwhelmingly, they are depicted in very traditional roles. They are in the home, they're wives, they're mothers, taking care of children, and so on. And the official view of women in Iran is very traditional. But what's interesting is when we study the statistics from the Women and Family Social Cultural Council, which is an agency in Iran, a part of the Supreme Council of the Cultural Revolution's statistical database, we find that women actually have very much more dynamic life in society, increasingly in the universities and in the workplace. So perhaps what's most interesting is that the number of women entering higher education the number of all students, there are more women entering higher education than men. So that 60% of all the people entering university today are women. And this has been on the rise since 2002. The Iranian government did make a policy to try to encourage women to enter education. It's interesting that the government will explicitly support certain programs for women, but not others. So, for example, we see that the number of women who enter medicine is 2 to 3 times higher than men. And this has a lot to do with women are being trained as doctors and nurses to go to remote parts of Iran to be healthcare providers. And also some Islamic conventions about women should only be working, there's certain health, maybe health obstetrics or gynecology where women are expected to deliver the healthcare and not men. Additionally, we see 3 times as many women entering fundamental science degrees programs as men. And also, so that's also interesting. At the same time, the Iranian government has certain prohibitions that, for example, women cannot enter the mining industry or work in, there's certain degrees where they're not allowed to enter. And it's not that there's, in other areas, so the sort of industrial or maybe certain area, oil and gas and mining, we don't see so many women getting those degrees. The one area which we haven't explained as of yet is that men are still outnumbering women in the engineering and mathematics areas of degrees. Some people say that this might have something to do with video games. This is still something that's studied. We don't really have the answer to that. So, at any rate, some of the things that we found when we looked at the advertisements, and in many ways it's almost kind of funny because some of the ads will depict women in such a old-fashioned or maybe cliched way. But for example, there's as I understand, that women in Iran are in charge of the family finances, so that women are taking care of paying the bills every month and making sure that everyone is, the children's school tuition is paid and so on. But the advertisements of women in the banking industry always feature women. They can't find their wallets. They don't know what to do. They're asking their husband, oh, we have to pay uncle. Oh, Dad, would you please take care of it? So women are, it's, as I understand, it's not the way, women are in charge of finances at home, but not in the advertisements. The other thing we find is that women are major consumers of telecommunication services, but the advertisements are not depicting women at all, even though they're a very important part of the consumer market. The other area is that women are getting 30% of all of driver's licenses in Iran, but there's no advertisements showing women with cars. The only one we could find was where women were at home receiving a gift of car accessories. In another case, we also know that the Iranian sports teams for women are getting visibility around the world. And of course, they are playing sports with hijab. But we don't see women in sports or sporting advertisements. Where we do tend to see women, they're in advertisements around food products, olive oil, noodles, and so on, and also in home appliances. There's a brand called Pars Kazar, and the women are considered the experts in explaining, which kinds of appliances are to be used. So, at any rate, it's not unlike many places in the West where we might find that the advertisements don't always match up to the reality. But what's interesting is that when you want to find the more realistic or authentic portrayal of women in advertising, people will tend to look at social media, whether it's Facebook or other Iranian social media. And this research is not concluded, but it essentially shows that the process of how people create the identity, how they see themselves, is very complex, and that people can take in a number of media, but decide for themselves how they want to to see themselves in the world. So there's certainly a lot of theories within feminist literature about, do we see something in television and that's how we portray, or do we take what we see and then change it for our own belief system, or do we make a mix of things? So as I said, there's not really a conclusion to that, but it is essentially showing that there's no doubt that Iranian women are very creative in terms of finding media and putting it together and constructing their identity.
Thank you very much. It's interesting, I think, to see the progression of advertising and how people are depicted and how that may change over time. With Hala, who also, I should have mentioned, started her career as a journalist, and she now serves as the board of trustees and executive director of the Egyptian Foundation for Family Development. So over to you, Hala, and thank you very much.
صباح الخير. أنا الحقيقة هتكلم على المرأة والإنترنت والتكنولوجيا في مصر، وده أكيد حديث بالنسبة لي أكيد هو ذو شجون، لأن فعليا لو جينا نتكلم على قضية المرأة واستخدام الإنترنت والتكنولوجيا مش ممكن نفصلهم عن 3 حاجات. الحاجة الأولى هي الأمية، ولما نتكلم عن الأمية بنتكلم على نوعين من الأمية.
Just a small intervention. There's no translation? No. Okay. What channel would we be translating from Arabic into English?
Arabic English or Farsi? English Farsi? هي نسي. Okay.
They're checking.
One. Okay. تاني أكتر من كده. طيب أنا هحاول أتكلم بالراحة أكتر. أوكي.
One. Give it a go.
أوكي. حاسة إن في مشكلة.
So just to confirm, English is on what channel?
Yeah.
Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good.
Okay. طيب هرجع تاني أقول نتكلم عن قضية المرأة والتكنولوجيا والإنترنت. ما نقدرش نتكلم عنهم بمعزل عن فكرة الأمية، ولما نتكلم عن الأمية في مصر يعني بنتكلم من 25 ل 28% من الشعب المصري تصيبه الأمية، تلتين العدد ده من النساء. ده مبدئيا. الجزء الثاني الأمية التكنولوجية أو بيسموها عالميا الأمية الوظيفية، واعتقد ان ده المعيار العالمي اللي اتخذ بيه فكرة الأمية، اللي هي فكرة استخدام التكنولوجيا والكمبيوتر. 2 2 اوكي.
Thank you very much. We'll try it one more time. So, thank you for starting. Okay. Ready?
انا عارفه انا عارفه ده في لجنه
Go
هناك.
ahead.
I think she has a problem.
So I think we're just going to do one more translation check. So channel 1. What is channel 1?
وانا
2? No. Okay. 3.
حد يروح يتابع.
This is a technical difficulty not created by the internet. So,
حد يروح لها وحياة ربنا.
and I've worked for many years when I've gone to ITU meetings where there are lots of different languages, so this sometimes happens. Okay, so channel 1 is, I believe, which language is channel 1? Channel 2? Channel 3? Sorry. I think someone's going to have to design a new program for translation so that when we come next year, we speak and it will come up.
I think you have a committee. بسم الله.
Thank you so much for your patience, everyone in the room. We appreciate your time. Channel 1 will be English, Channel 2 will be Farsi, and Channel 3 Arabic. So I'm turning it back over to you, Khala. Thank you.
طيب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. خلاص اوكي. طيب نرجع تاني. زي ما قلنا قضية المرأة والإنترنت والتكنولوجيا في مصر مرتبطة بثلاث مصطلحات أو تحديات. التحدي الأول هو الأمية. لما نتكلم عن الأمية بنتكلم عن أمية أبجدية بتتراوح في مصر ما بين أكتر من كده هنام تتراوح في مصر ما بين 25-28% من الشعب المصري تصيبه الأمية، تلتين هذا العدد من النساء. الأمية الوظيفية زي ما قلت قبل كده اللي هي الأمية الخاصة بالتكنولوجيا واستخدام الإنترنت، واللي أعتقد هي دي المعيار العالمي للأمية حاليا واللي متخذ بيها، اللي هي بتقدر أن 70 مليون أمي بالغ في الوطن العربي. ودي يمكن عندنا التحدي الأكبر أن التلتين برضو من النساء. ده التحدي الأول وأعتقد هو التحدي الأكبر. في تحدي خاص بمصر اللي هو تحدي اللغة كمان، اللي هي فكرة اللغة الإنجليزية اللي هي متعارف عليها في استخدام الإنترنت، واللي بتؤدي لأن كثير من السيدات اللي بيستخدموا الإنترنت بيستخدموا ربع أو أقل من ربع طاقة الإنترنت والاستفادة بيه نتيجة عدم علمهم باللغة الإنجليزية. بعد كده نتكلم على الثقافة، التحدي الثاني. الثقافة وهي العادات والتقاليد اللي بتربط المرأة فقط بدورها الإنجابي ودورها داخل المنزل، اللي لا يتعدى ان هي تتعرف على الإنترنت للرفاهية فقط. ودي يمكن من التحديات الأكثر صعوبة في مواجهتها. نيجي للتحدي الثالث وهو خاص بفكرة الناحية الاقتصادية أو الفقر، والمصطلح العالمي المعروف اللي هو تأنيث الفقر. يمكن في مصر نسبة 32% من الأسر المصرية بتعولها امرأة، وده هو اللي بيقول إن حتى لو الفقر موجود في مصر بشكل كبير إلا إن المرأة المصرية هي أكثر المعرضين بشكل مباشر لفكرة المخاطر الفقر الحقيقية. ده فيما يخص التحديات وفيما يخص وضع المرأة بشكل مختصر جدا. داخل كل قضية من هذه القضايا هناك في كتير من المحاولات على مستوى الدولة، محاولات على مستوى المجتمع المدني لمواجهة هذه التحديات، إلا إنها جميعا التقدم فيها هو بيحرز بشكل بطيء جدا، نتيجة إنها زي ما حضراتكم شايفين هي تحديات كبيرة جدا، وتعتبر هي التحديات الأولى الموجودة في مصر بشكل بيأخذ الصدارة عن باقي التحديات اللي موجودة في الوطن بشكل عام. طيب ورغم ذلك هنا لي أكتر من كده. ورغم ذلك هناك عدد من المناطق المضيئة في استخدام المرأة للإنترنت. هذه المناطق بتقول إن هناك تحدي لهذه التحديات من جانب النساء المصريات. استخدام الإنترنت في 3 مجالات هتكلم عنهم. المجال الأول استخدام النسويات المصريات للإنترنت في مجال الادفوكاسي الخاص ببعض القضايا. هاخد منها قضية واحدة. No translation.
I think you just need you to speak slower. That's it. Can you? Sorry.
No translation.
No,
I
it's
think
because you're speaking too fast, they say. But I speak fast too.
this is fast.
Maybe you go
Okay.
slow. So slower, we'll try again. Go ahead.
طيب.
You were talking about women and
أنا I saw the طيب. الجزء الأول استخدام النساء للإنترنت هو حملة الأدفوكاسي اللي اتعملت حوالين فكرة التحرش الجنسي. وكانت النسويات المصريات كان من خلال موقع التحرش اللي هو ISO harassment. كانت الفكرة رصد مواقع التحرش في مصر والتصدي ليها من خلال مواقع الإنترنت، ودي الحقيقة اللي قام بها الشابات المصريات. نجحت هذه الحملة إلى أنها تصل إلى أن في مصر يصبح في قانون لمواجهة التحرش الجنسي بالنساء، وده من خلال حملة النساء على الإنترنت. ده كان الاستخدام الأول لفكرة الإنترنت والتكنولوجيا من خلال النسويات المصريات.
النجاح الآخر فيما يخص استخدام الإنترنت بالنسبة للنساء المصريات اللي هي فكرة الفضاء الخاص للنساء على الإنترنت، وهي الإذاعة الإلكترونية والصحافة الإلكترونية، والتعرض لقضايا النساء المسكوت عنها من خلال الإنترنت. ودي يمكن من أكتر الحاجات اللي ناجحة في مصر، اللي فيها كتير من المواجهات لكثير من القضايا الموجودة فعليا، واللي ما بيكونش في مجال من خلال الإعلام المتعارف عليه سواء إذاعة وتلفزيون أو غيره لمواجهتها. فتم مواجهة هذا التحدي بأنها بيتم مواجهتها عن طريق الإذاعات الإلكترونية والصحافة الإلكترونية، وكانت من النجاحات الأخرى. ثالث نجاح واعتقد هو موضوع النهارده، اللي هي فكرة الترويج الإلكتروني لمنتجات النساء اليدوية اللي بتصنعها النساء من خلال وجودها في المنزل. زي ما قلت، نسبة أمية عالية، نسبة فقر عالية، بتؤدي إلى أن النساء بتبدع في استخدام قدر من طاقتها اليدوية ومهاراتها اليدوية داخل المنزل في إنها بتصنع بعض المشغولات والمأكولات والصناعات الجلدية والأكسسوارز وغيرها من الصناعات، وتفتق ذهنها إن هي تقوم من خلال صفحة على الفيسبوك أو على تويتر لترويج هذه المنتجات الاقتصادية. والحقيقة كتير من النجاحات عندنا من ستات أميات موجودين في مصر قدروا يكون لهم مواقع، ليهم صفحات على الفيسبوك بتقدر ان هي تروج عن طريقها. طبعا مش هي الادمن ليها، لكنها بتخلي بنتها، بتخلي ابنها، بتخلي اي حد من افراد الاسره، او حتى لو استاجرت شابه بسيطة في مجال التعليم وتقدر ان هي تستخدم بس صفحة فيسبوك وبتروج لهذه المنتجات، وبتؤدي الى انها فعليا اصبحت بتنقل نساء من انها تروج لهذا الاقتصاد محليا الى الترويج الدولي والعربي. ودي يمكن أكثر من نموذج من النساء، وترويج زي ما بقول لمنتجات بسيطة جدا بتؤدي إلى إن هي فعلا قدرت تتغلب على الفقر والأمية والتحدي الثقافي بإنها بتقدر تروج لمنتجاتها من خلال هذا الاستخدام البسيط لصفحات بسيطة وويب سايتس صغيرة من خلال بعض المستخدمين للإنترنت. وده بيؤدي لان كمان كتير منهم من النساء، وانا طبعا بتكلم عن حالات بعينها، قدرت ان هي نفسها تستخدم الانترنت او صفحتها على الفيسبوك بشكل اوتوماتيكلي بدون ما يكون عندها وعي ودرايه كافيه باستخدامه، لانها بتستخدمها. عرفت مجموعه من الزراير اللي بتقدر ان هي من خلالها تروج لصناعتها او لمهنتها اللي هي بتبيعها. ده فيما يخص استخدام الانترنت بشكل ناجح. طيب، توصيات نهائية، وأعتقد دي اللي هي بتؤدي لأن احنا كيف نتغلب على هذه التحديات اللي أنا قلتها في الأول، اللي هي ليها علاقة كتير بالأمية، ليها علاقة بالثقافة، ليها علاقة بالفقر. طبعا اهتمام المرأة بالإنترنت بيحتاج لجميع الجهود تتشابك من أجل القضاء على هذه المشكلة وخروج المرأة من بوتقة الفقر والأمية والجهل إلى التكنولوجيا العالمية بشكل عام والتكنولوجيا بشكل خاص داخل بلدها. فاحنا أنا بقول مناهضة الأمية الأبجدية والثقافية والتكنولوجية، وده من خلال برامج تصمم خصيصا للنساء من أجل مناهضة هذه الأمية. تطوير برامج دراسية وتدريبية لمواجهة تحديات النساء في هذا المجال من خلال المجتمع المدني ومن خلال مؤسسات الدولة. أن تعمل مؤسسات المجتمع المدني على بناء تحالفات ومنتديات تهتم بقضايا المرأة والتكنولوجيا للوصول إلى التحديات الحقيقية والتغلب عليها. ودي الحقيقة يمكن زي تحالف ويف. يمكن تحالف ويف هو من التحالفات اللي انتبهت بشكل مبكر لفكرة الأمية والمرأة، وده هو يمكن المين الرئيسي اللي احنا من خلاله النهاردة بنمثل تحالف ويف. فكرة التكنولوجيا محتاجة أولا، أنا شخصيا بقول إن هي محتاجة دعم دولي، لأن يمكن داخل بلادنا العربية فكرة التكنولوجيا هي بتعتبر بالنسبة للنساء رفاهية من وجهة نظر الحكومة ومن وجهة نظر النساء أنفسهم. فهي محتاجة تأتي بعكس ان هي تيجي دوليا تدخل اقليميا توصل محليا تكون واخدت مساحة اكبر من المساحة اللي احنا فعليا بنتمناها. لو دخلنا محليا اقليميا دوليا هناخد وقت اطول. لكن انا شخصيا شايفة من خلال ويف ومن خلال هذا التحالف ان اتمنى ان يتم تبني مثل هذه التحالفات وخصوصا من IGF. انا من خلال لقائنا النهاردة بدعو IGF ان هي تتبنى فكرة الومن والتكنولوجيا، النساء والتكنولوجيا، عشان تكون هي فعليا من رئيسي في هذا المؤتمر، زي الشباب والتكنولوجيا، زي شباب IGF، يبقى في يوم IGF تبقى موجودة ويبقى التبني ليه. هو اعتقد ان ده هيكون، مش عايزة اقول اكتر من الشباب، لكن هو هيكون ليه يعني مريدين كثيرين من النساء ومن المؤسسات المجتمع المدني اللي هي لسه ما حطتش على اجندتها هذا الجزء، ويبقى فعليا دوليا أخذنا هذا المنطلق ومن خلاله نقدر ندخل إقليميا وعربيا. بشكركم وأسفة جدا للخبطة اللي حصلت. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for being so festive and for starting over. And a key thing that Halal is saying is that the internet can take and level the playing field. You don't have to be rich or poor, man or woman. Everyone can use it. But with women, it's a great story where you're having women using Facebook to do business. It's great. And I often think we use the internet now with symbols. So the more that we can use those symbols, whether it's on Facebook or Twitter, it can help facilitate more conversation and understanding, which is fabulous. So we are headed down the line here to Inam and to Erica, and we'll go to Inam first. And Inam, over to you.
صباح الخير السيدات والسادة. أشكر ال IGF وأشكر ويف لإتاحة هذه الفرصة للحديث هنا. كنت أحضرت ورقة بس أبغى أتأكد. أريد. كنت حضرت ورقة تحتوي على العديد من المعلومات. اكتشفت من خلال اللقاء الأول أنه وكالعادة أن الوطن يتشابه بالكثير من القضايا.
One second, I think we're now on channel 2. We're going from Arabic into English, is that right? Give it a try. So if you're interested in the English, it's channel 2, and I believe the Persian is channel 3. Is that right? Give it a go.
أوكي. عذرا. الوطن يتشابه في الكثير من القضايا، يتشابه في الكثير من المتعوقات، وأيضا أعتقد أنه سيتشابه في الكثير من الحلول. في السعودية العالم المخبوء الذي لا تعرفون عنه الكثير إلا من وسائل الإعلام التي قد تصدق وقد لا تصدق. إجمالي حجم ما تملكه سيدات الأعمال في المملكة يتجاوز 45 مليار ريال في البنوك. ولكن هذه الفئة، هل هي الفئة الفعلية للسعودية؟ هذه محصورة في فئة قليلة جدا من النساء. نسبة البطالة والفقر تتجاوز 70%. الكثير من المتعوقات تقف أمام المرأة السعودية تحاول أن تتجاوزها. الصور النمطية للمرأة تجعلها في مكانة ضعيفة جدا. السيطرة الذكورية، إذن ولي الأمر، نوعية التعليم التي تتعلمه المرأة الذي لا يتوافق مع سوق العمل، صعوبة التنقل، وكلنا نعلم بالحملات التي تدار الآن من أجل حصول المرأة على حقها في قيادة السيارة التي تسهل لها الكثير من الأمور. نقص الخدمات لرعاية الأسرة. الكثير من المعوقات تحاول النساء في عصر التكنولوجيا أن تتجاوزها. فسحة إنترنتية، فيسبوك، تويتر، إنستغرام والكثير سهلت للمرأة السعودية بأن تخوض غمار التجارة الإلكترونية، أن تسوق للمنتجات الخاصة بها بعيداً عن الكثير من القيود المجتمعية، القيود القانونية والتشريعية. التجارة الإلكترونية في السعودية بدأت على استحياء، بدأت تتطور. الحكومة اتخذت بعض الإجراءات للوثوب فوق المعوقات الكثيرة، ومن هذه الأمور اجتمعت بعض الوزارات ومؤسسة النقد ووزارة التجارة من أجل وضع قوانين للتجارة الإلكترونية أو التعليم الإلكتروني. هناك في السعودية استغلال كبير لوضع المرأة، حيث يقوم بتوظيفها وهمياً من أجل الحصول على نسبة التوطين. الآن في الوقت الحالي هناك توظيف عن بعد، ولا تزال المرأة تعاني بنفس الطريقة، أنها لا تحصل على حقها بالكامل هناك. أيضا لدينا الكثير من المعوقات من ناحية الإنترنت والسرعة الخاصة بها. في بعض المناطق تمييز حتى في الإنترنت، في بعض المناطق السرعة عالية جدا، بينما في المناطق الأخرى التي قد تحدث بها حراكات الإنترنت بطيء للغاية، ومع ذلك ارتفاع رسوم الإنترنت في بلد بهذا الرخاء. هناك الكثير من المعوقات بالنسبة لحظة بس. التجارة الإلكترونية تتمثل بأنها خيار جيد للمرأة في السعودية، ولكن هناك عدم ثقة بالتبادلات التجارية الإلكترونية، عدم ثقة بالقيم القضائية والوثائق الرقمية، عدم توفر المواصفات القياسية للأدوات التجارية الإلكترونية، عدم توفر المقاييس للموظفين العارفين بها. لدينا نقص في الكوادر البشرية التي المؤهلة لخوض غمار التجارة الإلكترونية. الآن في السعودية هناك جامعة متخصصة للتجارة الإلكترونية، هناك جامعات للدراسة عن بعد، ولكن هناك نقص في البنية التحتية للبيئة المعلوماتية. أيضا سيطرة الشركات الخاصة بالبرمجيات والإنترنت على الواقع يجعلنا الضحية الوحيدة في هذا الصدد. نتمنى العمل الجاد من قبل الدولة على تحسين هذا الوضع. في السعودية، ولأن المرأة محصورة في المنزل، ممنوعة من التنقل، ممنوعة من الحراك، ممنوعة من التعبير عن رأيها وتحت وصاية الرجل، وجدت في الإنترنت فسحة أيضا للمدافعة عن قضاياها. التمكين الاقتصادي أساس للتمكينات الأخرى، ولكي نحصل على التمكين الاقتصادي يجب أن ندافع عن الحقوق الأخرى التي تعتبر غير موجودة لدى المرأة. نتمنى أن تضع الدولة في اعتبارها أن تحسن في البيئة والبنية التحتية للبيئة المعلوماتية، إقامة حكومة إلكترونية فاعلة. لدينا الآن حكومة إلكترونية، ولكن للأسف المعاملات فيها تتعدى وتتجاوز 6 أشهر في البطء، مما يعيق الكثير من المعاملات الإلكترونية. أمن المعلومات، الكثير من الشعب يخاف ويهاب من استخدام الإنترنت لأن معلومات لا يوجد بها أمان. يشعر بأن التداولات الإلكترونية المربوطة بالمؤسسات والشركات الخارجية سوف تسرق هذه البيانات الخاصة فيه، فيتحاشى أن يدخل فيها. أيضا نحتاج إلى أن الدولة تصادق على القوانين المتعلقة بحقوق الملكية الفردية، وخصوصا في مجال البرمجيات. بحاجة إلى البناء في رأس المال البشري، وجود الخبرات البشرية التي تساعد في إنجاز المهام، أيضا في التوعية ومحو أمية الإنترنت لدى الكوادر البشرية لكي تستطيع التعامل مع الإنترنت. نحتاج إلى بيئة تجارية إلكترونية، يقصد بالبيئة التجارية الإلكترونية توفر المعطيات التي تعزز القدرة على مزاولة أنشطة التجارة الإلكترونية. أعيد، هناك لدينا معوقات اجتماعية، معوقات قانونية، ومعوقات في البيئة والبنية التحتية الإلكترونية. نحن بحاجة إلى إزالة جميع هذه المعوقات لكي يستطيع المجتمع السعودي والمرأة السعودية أن تتعامل مع الإنترنت بطريقة حرفية. شكرا.
Thank you very much, Inam. And one of the takeaways I have from that is if you had better collaboration with the ministries and a faster internet, there could be a more level playing field, particularly with literacy and other business potential. We'll turn over to Erica now. Erica, thank you very much. And you're up.
Thank you so much, first of all, for inviting me. It is a pleasure to be with you again, and I'm looking forward to continue to work with you. I'm always amazed, I must say, this is a very personal comment, but I'm always amazed that in the year 2014, we still face so many challenges when it comes to women's rights and to equality. It is amazing. It's, I mean, when you look backwards, and I'm engaged in the topic now for such a long time, and I have seen the discussions and debate in Europe, and in particular in Germany, where I have grown up, where we started the debate and the discussions in the 60s and in the 70s. But, you know, not just in your countries, in our countries as well. We still need to have the debate and the discussion. The story is not yet over. And we have different challenges, but we still understand and see there's a lot we have to do to reach a point where we are all satisfied in a way we can express ourselves and where we become part of a society. There is sometimes something very simple. And I want to give you a few examples from my own work. And what we have done in Germany. Sometimes they're very simple examples, sometimes the very, very best. I worked in and supported an initiative which was primarily bringing together women in a technical environment, because that's a challenge we still have in Europe and in Germany. And this platform, Technic, Diversity and Chances, it's called its German name, Kompetenzzentrum. I'm happy to give you the information about it later. And the government had in Germany 2 ministries, very interesting idea what they supported, what is called a Girls' Day. And a Girls' Day is a day, one day in a year, where kids can choose and are supported by the schools. They can choose to go participate in a business environment or university environment. They can go with their parents, can visit their parents, either the father or the mother, or they can do it independently. So this gives an idea for a very young girl, you know, in understanding how the business environment look like. And then they can talk about it. Schools have experience. In the school environment, they can talk about it. They can talk in the family about it. The father can say, now, do you like what I do? Because kids sometimes have no ideas what the father is doing. The mother can say, do you like what I'm doing, where I work, or where the father is working, if the mother is not in a business environment. So it's a very nice idea, and it's a very nice bridge. It's very, very, very successful. It's covered in many European countries. And I think it is something I would recommend you to look into. It's a nice, and it's very easy, I think, for most governments, if not for all governments, to take on. The same can be said in many other environments, political environments. Wherever we are, I think we have to look for simple solutions. It is good to have a theoretical debate about, the empowerment of women, but there are many ways where we can start implementing and finding and looking for very simple solutions. I have done the same when I was in the European Parliament. We built, again, women. We looked where inequality exists, how we can support initiatives either inside the European Parliament or where we can support initiative outside, in business environment, in research environment, in wherever you see, you need to intervene. That's what I try to do with a group of women and a group of men. It's an issue we both have, I think we need to support. Now I'm with Facebook, and again, we see in a very different level, that women have it harder sometimes to become part of a business environment in a very technical environment, like Facebook is in the engineering environment. Not because Facebook is not interested, or all the other internet companies want to have women. They're desperate to find women, but they're not, sufficient women qualified who went through engineering qualifications. And again, that's something we have to change. We have to, make it attractive so that young women love to go into, and engineering environments, work in engineering environments. It's a fun environment, but there's still, in many cases, perception it's less interesting than, work in a healthcare environment or work in a, in other more attractive environments sometimes for women. So I think this is a perception we all have to work on to change, and we have to embrace, a new way of teaching, maybe even in schools, a new way of teaching at universities, how we talk about engineering, how we explain, and how we have role models, women role models who talk about this in a positive way, and then I think young women perception will change. Let me finish with this, and I'm looking forward to the discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for these excellent stories, interventions, discussion. We started off with great discussion about how the internet in Iran can help women and play level the playing field, but also not be something that is seen as a bad thing, because women could work at home, potentially using the internet and technology. Rosalind gave us a very interesting overview of what she's doing with women and how they're depicted in Iran, and hopefully that will change in the future with how things are put forward and potentially better use of the internet. Hala, great information about women who may not be that literate but are working with other women to put up businesses online, and the use of the technology in the country and moving forward. Inam, again, the importance of the internet for business, for women, and to try and work with other ministries to help change the situation moving forward. And we'll want to hear more from all of you and from the others at the table here. And Erica, about the importance of, I love that story about the Girls' Day. We've seen the same sort of thing where children come to work with their parents, and it's very interesting for them to see what's going on. But just moving forward, and engineering is something that is very interesting, because technology is changing things so much. I think engineers and now in anything having to do with the internet is seen as something very important that's moving forward. I'm going to turn it over to Andrew, and he's going to help facilitate the discussion, and we can jump in where we need to. But Andrew was on another panel, and he's happy to be back with us.
Very happy.
Here you go.
Thank you very much. And my apologies for being a little bit late. I had the privilege of sitting down with the panelists yesterday to hear a little bit about their stories and what they were going to be saying today, so I'm a little bit caught up more than I should be. Very, very interesting, picking up on one of the things that Erica was just saying. It is really true that technology culture has historically been very male culture. And I think that that has been a real challenge for people looking to get into the space. Because it's not just a question, can women do it? But also, in this environment, will women feel welcome? And I know we've also worked in natural resources with big oil companies in the past, and one of the things that you find is it's just not an environment where you feel welcome, right? So I am encouraged to think that this is changing because I know it is, but there is no question that there are tremendous opportunities for women who are willing to take the chance and maybe spend a little more time in this male-dominated culture to open the door for the next generation and the next generation. As we were talking yesterday about the future, we came down to a conversation revolved around two different poles, so I'd like to talk to each of them real quickly with the panelists. One was the role and the attitude of government, and the second one is the role and the attitude of women themselves. So I'm going to pick on my panelists. I'm going to ask my panelists for help to say, in your countries, when you are, if you tomorrow had the opportunity to sit down with a member of a ministry of ICT, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Telephony, whichever would be the appropriate ministry, and you wanted to open their minds to the possibilities in a small conversation, what might you say to them? To get them to think about technology and women differently and more positively. And I don't know, who would like to start? Can I pick on you? Ina?
لو كنت في وزارة من الوزارات، هذا هو السؤال صح؟ أنا بس السؤال مرة أخرى لو سمحت. Again, question please. No.
The question is, what would you wish to say to the minister to get them to change their mind?
Okay.
This is the question we discussed yesterday.
Okay. أعتقد أنه المرأة الآن في محاولة كسر القيود الاجتماعية والقانونية والعرفية بدأت في استخدام التكنولوجيا بصورة فاعلة أكثر من الرجل. صحيح الرجل يسيطر ولكنها فاعلة بشكل أكثر. المرأة تستطيع النظر إلى البيئة المحيطة بشكل أكبر. في السعودية على وجه التحديد 70% من مستخدمي الإنترنت هم من النساء، لأنهم في الغالب موجودات في المنزل. وجودها في المنزل يسهم بتوفير الوقت. توفير الوقت يسهم بأنها تكون قادرة على خلق بيئة خارج المنزل تعبر فيها عن أفكارها، عن مبادئها، عن تطلعاتها، عن ماذا تريد أن تغير في المجتمع الداخلي والخارجي. لو كنت في وزارة ما كعضوة، فإن سوف أعمل على تقديم مقترح للوزارة بأن يكون الإنترنت هو وسيلة التواصل ما بين الأفراد ووسيلة التواصل الخارجي، ولكن ببرمجيات جديدة مستحدثة، برمجيات مغايرة عن البرمجيات الحالية. الفيسبوك وتويتر في الغالب يستخدم بطريقة سيئة جدا، ونحن بحاجة إلى إعادة صياغة استخدام للفيسبوك وتويتر. اوكي. فاعتقد انه وجود برامج جديدة للتواصل الداخلي ليست البرامج العامة سوف تسهم في وضع الأمور في نصابها الصحيح. شكرا.
Okay, so it's very interesting trying to use the new technology in a new way to change the image of the technology. And also, that's an amazing statistic, 70% of the internet is used by women. That's, any government should be looking at that. That makes good sense. Would you like to pick it up?
الحقيقة أولا أنا هطلب توظيف نساء في مجال الشركات والمؤسسات والهيئات التي ما فيش ترجمة. طب أروح فين؟ طب أروح أعمل إيه؟ حد يترجم انقذوني عشان تعبت. اوكي اوكي اوكي. توظيف نساء، تولي نساء لوظائف في المؤسسات او الهيئات. اعمل ايه؟ صبر. أو الهيئات اللي بتعمل في مجال التكنولوجيا، لأن الحقيقة يمكن خصوصا في مصر في المؤسسات والهيئات اللي ليها علاقة بالتكنولوجيا نسبة النساء بسيطة جدا. دي نمرة واحد. في المواقع القيادية، في المواقع القيادية عارفة ان بتوع الاتصالات والتكنولوجيا موجودين ويقولوا لي لا ده مش حقيقي، لكن هي في بعض المواقع كله الرجالة معترضة. رجالة مصر معترضة وده العادي. طيب الحاجة التانية هطلب زي ما قلت في توصيتي تطوير برامج دراسية تدريبية لاستخدام التكنولوجيا على المستوى الأعلى من مجرد الاستخدام، لأن فعليا الغالبية العظمى من النساء في مصر مثلا تستخدم التكنولوجيا، ولكن بتستخدم نسبة أعتقد ما يصل إلى من 5 إلى 10% فقط من طاقة التكنولوجيا والإنترنت التي يمكن أن تستخدمها. فتوفير برامج أعلى مستوى للنساء تحديدا توجه لها في المناطق التي يصعب الوصول إليها لاستخدامها، ده من المطالب اللي أعتقد أن هي ممكن تؤدي إلى نقلة نوعية مش قفزة لاستخدام النساء للتكنولوجيا والاستفادة بها. شكرا.
So very interesting how the moving from more use of the internet in the home to also more hiring of women as part of the government, as part of the policy making. Yes? Very interesting. Erica?
I think it's an excellent recommendation. And there was one comment made which I just would love to pick up, and this is the idea you mentioned is to use social media in a more professional way, in a professional environment. Personally, I do this all the time. I do this on a daily basis. So I use it for my private, communication as well. But then I have many subgroups which I only use professionally. And I think this is something super interesting to explore more and to learn more about it, because it really helps, in particular in environments, where one can't be daily in contact in a business environment. But it's something one has to learn how to use it.
I told them that don't think so many about the threats, about the unwanted impacts, consequences of this technology. Just think about think about the positive consequences and emphasize on that. Rely on women and give them the opportunity. Women and technology are not threats. There are opportunities to be part of the country's manpower to do many good things, to do many positive things. I want them to change their mindset about this and thinking positively about women and the technology. And it will be, many things will be changed. And we will see the performance of women in this area and the role that they can play in countries' development.
Wonderful. And so men are afraid of this change, right?
Yes.
What is I'm speaking as the gender balance now on the panel, right? For the first time. This is not a typical tech panel. Right? So men are afraid of this. What is the first thing that you want to say to them that why they should not be afraid of this change?
By the nature, women are responsible for continuing the generation, and so they will behave and they will do their main role in the whole society, and they will find the ways that can be beneficial to the society. The women in the whole history do the things like this, and they can find out themselves in the situation. But when you think about them, that they are threats and they are opposite, in the opposite direction of the society benefits, they will act like this. But if you accept them as the main player in the development of the society, they can find their role and they play it very well. Rely on them. They did it in the whole history and they will do it in the future.
Please. And then I want to get
أنا أعتقد أنه أفضل وسيلة لإزالة معوق الخوف لدى المرأة في استخدام الإنترنت وتجاوز البيئة المحيطة أنه الأطفال الآن يستخدموا الإنترنت بصورة فظيعة جدا. يستطيع الولوج إلى كل شيء في الإنترنت. من باب الحماية للطفل، من باب الرعاية، يجب عليها أن تكون ملمة أيضا هي باستخدام الإنترنت لكي تستطيع أن تحميه من كل الأخطار المحيطة حوله.
So you have the combination of the traditional role of protecting the family, and the other traditional role of being the establisher of culture or the guide of culture. Those are both very interesting things that I think will sound good to the ear of most men. Rosalind, to you, what would you say?
On which? I'm sorry. Which?
If we're talking about changing the mentality, and we have the need to talk to men in government, how can we make our argument that this is not scary? How can we make our argument that this is a direction we must go, recognizing that there are culture and history that may not follow that?
Well, it's something that my colleague and I we're really trying to understand through this project that we've done, is that there's a kind of discrepancy between what people believe and the sort of official state line of what things should be, and that, at least in the context where we're looking at in Iran, that it's a sort of dissonance where people, they know what they know, and then the government tells them certain things, and how exactly to go against it, I'm not sure, in that people are living their lives every day. They find ways to work around. I don't have an answer for you other than people are creative, and they find ways to educate themselves. and they simply go forward in the way they can. I don't have the answer. I hope that by the time we publish the paper, we will, and I'll tweet it back and post on Facebook. I hope it will give some more ideas.
So now we've talked about government, and to some extent we've talked about culture change. Let's talk a little bit more about business, okay? As you look to try to expand your business, what would the next 5 years look like in a perfect world for you? And how can an organization of other women facing similar kinds of challenges, how can that help you?
أنا في المقام الأول سيدة أعمال، لدي مؤسسة للديكور والتصميم الداخلي. الموضوع لا يتعلق بالتصميم في المكتب فقط، الموضوع كان يتعلق بالخروج من المكتب للذهاب للمواقع ومعاينة العمل مع العمال، وهذا كان يمثل تحدي كبير جدا في السعودية بحكم القيود المجتمعية الكبيرة الموجودة على المرأة. الإنترنت كان فسحة للتعريف بالنشاط، الإنترنت كان فسحة لوضع الصور ومقاطع الفيديو الخاصة بالعمل الخاص بي، كان فسحة أن يرى الناس وبشكل يومي ذهابي للمواقع، التقاطع مع العمال والعملاء في المكتب، وأنا محافظة على زيي وملابسي ومعتقداتي وكل ما يتعلق بعاداتي وتقاليدي. كسر الحاجز النمطي للأفكار يبدأ من خلالنا نحن. ما الذي نصنعه نحن؟ العادات من صنعنا، نحن بنستطيع أن نغير هذه العادات من خلال ما نقوم به. لدي صفحة في تويتر، صفحة في الإنترنت، صفحة في الإنستغرام، أستعرض جميع الأعمال الخاصة بي. أيضا من خلال الجمعية السعودية لتنمية المرأة ضوء، نحن نهتم بجانب التمكين الاقتصادي للنساء، لأن التمكين الاقتصادي أساس لكل تمكين آخر. الآن في الفترة الحالية نعمل على وضع سوق إلكتروني محلي من خلاله يستطيع النساء العاملات في المنزل أو المنتجات اليدوية أو من لديها أي سلعة أيا كان نوع هذه السلعة، بإمكانها أن تستأجر متجر داخل هذا السوق ومن خلالها تقوم بعمليات التبادل الإلكتروني. إذن نرجع إلى موضوع أهمية أن يكون لدينا بنية تحتية مهيئة بكوادر بشرية مهيئة تستطيع أن توفر لنا برمجيات بأسعار مقبولة، وليست هذه الأسعار التي يستغل فيها أموال الناس المحتاجة فعلا إلى العمل.
Very interesting. So you have two pieces that I thought that I picked up. One is about using the internet where to be present at times when it may not be always easy to be present.
I really don't understand. What do you want me to answer, please?
So let's talk about the future of your business.
My own business.
Future of your business, and how women working together in an organization how you can help that can help you and how you can help them.
I believe that in the future, because of the shortage of the resources in the whole world, we need there is no choice other than technology to overcome this shortage of resources, and we must think about productivity and solve many of our problems with the use of technology. This is a principle, this is a must for all the businesses, and I believe, and my experience is in this male environment, we as women can play a very good role to lower the tenses, lower the anxiety. عصبانیت ها چی میشه؟ Help me please. angers and have a more calm environment to be with each other. This is my experience. We need women to be at work, to have a better environment for business. You know, there are many pressure from outside to the businesses, and we can handle it better because we are more calm, because we are more patient, and because we are more we have better motivations. We are more motivated about this. So we must be at work.
So women as a calming force in the workplace.
Yes.
And a positive force when
Yes.
men will create conflict. Okay.
So I'm not working on the ground in Iran, but in my own particular way, what this project has taught me and what I really value and what we try to do, I think in the West, in the United States and Europe, we really take for granted our free and open internet, and it's really wonderful and fabulous. And for example, in the United States, if we wanted to make commentary to our Federal Communications Commission, 1 million people made comments, and every single comment was delivered and is available online. My colleagues in other countries in Iran, they're absolutely amazed that you could send in a comment to the Congress or to a government institution, and then the next day it's posted online. And this is a tremendous freedom that we have. And so I think as an academic, part of what the value I think that we can bring is to try to take the knowledge, in many ways is not online, unfortunately, to translate it, talk about it in our research, and host that research outside in other places, post it on social media, make links in a lot of these places, use all of the, and so maybe not directly working from those places, but showing from outside in the world, bringing more attention to these challenges in the countries we've talked about, that's another way to improve the situation.
بالنسبة للجزء الأول الخاص ب أين ستصل النساء أو النساء ممكن يعملوا إيه في المرحلة القادمة، أنا الحقيقة خصوصا في مصر بعد الثورتين المصريتين أنا بقول النساء قادمون. والحقيقة النساء قادمون ده مش مصطلح أجوف، لكن هو ليه دلالة عالية جدا، وأعتقد المصريين عارفينه وغير المصريين عارفينه. ده فيما يخص بشكل عام، ولكن فيما يخص الجانب الخاص بالإنترنت والتكنولوجيا واستخدام المرأة ليها، دائما استخدام المرأة الإيجابي لأي شيء ده مش تحيز، لكنه هو دائما هي بتنظر أين المصلحة. وفعلا المرأة المصرية زي ما أنا أشرت لنماذج، أنا بشتغل في منطقة شعبية في مصر، بشتغل مع سيدات أميات فقيرات ما عندهمش أي داعم غير أنفسهن، قدروا يتغلبوا على ذلك، وفعليا قدروا يكون ليهم مواقع بتبيع أبسط الأشياء اللي بتصنعها في البيت، وفعلا قدرت تعمل قفزات. فأنا شايفة إن بقدر من المهارات البسيطة جدا هتستطيع المرأة المصرية إن هي تصل إلى قدر عالي من التكنولوجيا، وتقدر تستخدمها الاستخدام الإيجابي اللي فعليا يقدر يوصل بقدر كبير جدا المجتمع إلى ناحية اقتصادية أعلى، وهتؤدي إلى إنها يبقى فيه تمكين اقتصادي حقيقي للنساء في المناطق الشعبية أكتر من المناطق كمان الراقية. وده مش تخيل، لكنه هو عندي مؤشرات بتقول ده، ومن خلال الرؤية اللي أنا قلت لحضراتكم عليها. الحقيقة بقى فيما يخص بشكل عام، أنا شايفة إن شاء الله المؤتمر الجاي، وأنا عندي أمل في ده وبإذن الله هيحصل، إن المؤتمر الجاي هيبقى فيه وومن IGF، وهيبقى فيه قدر عالي جدا جدا من النساء بتحاول تنضم ليه، وهيقدموا نموذج مختلف تماما عن النماذج اللي بتتقدم النهاردة اللي هي لسه النساء وكأنها بتحبو إلى التكنولوجيا. لا، اللي جاي هيكون فيه تحدي أكبر، وهنشوف نساء من كل دول العالم جاية بتقدم نفسها كمستخدمات إيجابيات للتكنولوجيا يؤدي إلى أن فعلا ينظر إليها بعين الاعتبار في هذه المساحة، وبعدين الرجالة هم اللي يقولوا عايزين نتساوى بيكم. شكرا.
Maybe just brief. Besides my time in politics and in now with Facebook, I had my own company before I went to the parliament and afterwards. So I think for women, the internet offers extremely many opportunities and interesting opportunities. But I think it is important to understand from government side that much more, can be done to ensure that, in particular, young women and girls understand how important this environment is and how they can use it. So there shouldn't be any limitations. And I think the second issue important for governments is to understand how important an open internet is. Because only if the internet stays open as it is right now, it offers the opportunities for men and women to build their business, to use it for educational purposes, to use it for all kind of for society important purposes. This is something I think it's important for government to understand and to do their part to keep the internet truly open. It's important for all of us. Sometimes we forget this. We think, there are issues which are problematic, and I think we all as a society, we can deal and we learn to deal with problematic issues like we have learned to deal with them in real life. But the openness, it's important for all of us. Thanks so much.
Yes, okay. No, we're actually lost in paper space. I'm trying to, so very interesting and a tremendously rich conversation. A conversation in some ways a little bit about fear and a lot about opportunity. Fear of what technology can bring to us that we aren't expecting. Fear of what technology may mean for our cultures today and tomorrow, but also some tremendous opportunities for what we could be and especially what our daughters and sisters might be. I heard a number of things from this amazing panel that I would take into a meeting with a member of the ministry, talking about technology enhancing women as stronger parents in an era when parenting is more difficult because of technology. Talking about women as more capable participants in society in many different ways and on many different levels. Talking about women as drivers advancing your national culture in a positive way, in a way that is very traditional in some senses. Women as business leaders, but not just as business leaders, as business starters. Because we talk all the time about the very large businesses that are set up by women, but most businesses around the world are like my business and like Erica's businesses, small businesses, right? We talked about women